I could not figure it out. My life felt like trash. I wasn't doing anything meaningful, and all I did was waste time. Like, I'd scroll, binge shows, snack, but still feel empty. And I thought that I was just lazy or broken, honestly. But it was this one habit. This one habit that felt harmless, even normal, but it was killing my potential and making me hate the person I was becoming. And once I saw what this habit was doing to me, I could not unsee it. But once I replaced this habit, everything changed for me. And if you feel stuck in the same situation, let me break down this habit and help you change it as well so that everything can change for you. So what is this habit? It's something we've all been through. It's nothing you don't know. It's called zombie mode. I remember like my spring break or winter break from college, I went home and I found the L Word, which is this very long TV series. Like, I think the episodes are 45 minutes long. I think there's either 6 or 7 seasons long, like a lot of episodes for each season. And I remember I watched all those seasons in less than a week. Like, I'm talking from the moment I woke up, I got on my phone and watched the L Word up until the moment I went to sleep. I didn't go outside. I barely got out of my bed. If I did get out of bed, it was literally to just use the bathroom or eat ramen. And I would come back and just continue watching. And I remember when I ended the series, I got to the very end, I felt like crap. I felt low, my body hurt, and I couldn't understand, like, why did I feel this way? And to get rid of that feeling, guess what? I just went to another series. I just started scrolling again, running from that emptiness. And the entire reason I felt that emptiness was because of what I was doing. That is so normal for us. I was literally going zombie mode. And we're going to cover how normal this is and why it's and why we're so stuck in it. But before we get into that, I just want you to be aware that this is the habit that's killing us, that's killing our potential, that's killing your potential. How many times have you gone zombie mode? Did you go zombie mode on this phone? Like that? Is that why you're watching this video? Because you were just mindlessly scrolling through YouTube and you happen to see me and click, and then you just want another video to give you some dopamine hits. Is that why you click this video? Be honest with yourself. Because it's so normal to go zombie mode. And now the worst part is, I always wanted to be successful. I've always wanted to start a business and gain financial freedom. And I remember, like, during the time I watched the L Word, the entire series within a week. During that time, I still was the same person who had the ambition and the potential and wanted to achieve more. But at that time, I was not doing it. I didn't have any energy. It felt so difficult. My mind was not there. And I wondered why. Like, why do I know what I want to do in my life, but I'm not doing it? I'm just scrolling endlessly, watching endlessly, not doing anything with my time. It's because of the habit. Zombie mode was draining my potential, and it's draining your potential. So if you have ambition, but you're not doing anything for it, it's because of this zombie mode. So I want to give you something you can switch to, something you can replace zombie mode with. And that is flourish mode. Flourish is a life of growth. It's a life of enjoyment. It's a life of clarity. Flourish mode is when you wake up and you don't need to grab your phone because you're up and you're doing something within your morning. It's when you have a hobby you're invested in and you love seeing your skills develop in that. It's when you have a purpose that you're working towards that drives you out of bed every morning. It's when you're doing something meaningful with your time. We want to get you onto a life of flourish mode. The question is how do we change zombie mode and become a flourishing mode? Well, the first thing you have to understand is that the only reason you're not in flourish mode is because you haven't been intentional about creating that mode in your life. We have been living by unintentional design. We are living lives we did not design. I mean, the default path that we are put on without our intentions, this is put on us, is to go to school, go to college, graduate, get a job, find a place, get married, settle down, work until you die, and that's it. That is what we have been, that's the path we've been put on. But that's not even the only path we've been put on. I want you to answer this. What is normal to do? What is a normal way to spend your time? You already know. The normal way to spend your time is to entertain yourself until you have to go to work. I remember I was eating lunch with my coworkers at Walmart, and I asked her, like, what do you do when you're off the clock? And she literally told me, I don't do anything but scroll on my phone and wait to go to work. And I see this. I see people who, when they get off work and they have free time, they don't do anything with their time except entertain themselves, amuse themselves to death. It is so common to just amuse yourself, but it is not common anymore to have different hobbies, to have your purpose, to be reading books, to do things that are productive. That's not common. And it's not common because the world we're living in, or at least the culture we're in, if you're in the United States, they don't want you to be successful. They don't want you to grow. Nobody wants you to grow. We need workers. So we're in a society that tells us just work, and then because you hate the life you're living, entertain yourself, escape from it. This is unintentional design. You didn't pick this style. You did not pick wanting to scroll all day on your phone. You didn't pick wanting to watch TV all day. That was put onto you. And then when you look around, you see other people doing it. But I'm here to tell you, you can pick. You can live by intentional design. You can look at the norm and you can choose to do the opposite. I don't even have a TV in my room. When I realized that the successful people read books, way more books, and the unsuccessful people don't read books, I told myself, okay, I'm getting rid of my TV, I'm getting more books in my room, and that's it. And now I barely watch TV. The only time I watch TV is if I'm with other people or if I'm in the living room with my parents. But if I'm in the living room alone, TV's off. I gotta sneeze. But that's not the only way I've designed my life once I realized it's the norm. I don't have any form of social media on my phone. I don't get on it unless you count YouTube as social media, but I don't. But I took that off because I realized I don't want to spend my time just watching other people live their lives. There's so many things I've changed. There's so many things you can change. But the only way you're going to change is if you know what areas of life matter to you. Because if I told you right now, okay, you're living an intentional life. Now it's time for you to intentionally design your life. Where do you start at? Well, you start right here. You start looking at this diagram to give you some ideas, to give you some inspiration of your whole life. You pick something from this diagram, and then you make goals underneath it. And if you want to do this process, but it seems complicated, and you're like, well, can you go through the steps so I can do this? Don't worry, I've got a starter kit that goes through everything in more detail in my description, so you can go ahead and check that out. But if you do not make your whole life, if you don't make goals underneath it, it's going to be so hard for you to live intentionally, and instead you're going to live like this, because this is how most people are living. Is that what you want? It's not. You don't deserve that. And you can also see, for me, I have my weekly goals up. I don't know if you can see them. I'm pretty sure you can. But I have my weekly goals up. And these: entrepreneur, fitness, family, student, spiritual. I gained inspiration from looking at that whole life and decided what matters to me. I created roles that matter to me. And these are just areas in my life. And then I have goals in them. Like for entrepreneur, it's to upload 4 videos and it's to complete my lead magnet site, which is going along. I'm working on that. Fitness is to do push-ups 4 times throughout this week. 4 times. Of a family, it's to visit my grandparents twice and I call my little brother. Like, these are things I'm doing. And the thing is, when you have these goals, now it's like, it's so much easier to figure out how to spend your time. Because when I get off work, like right now, it is 5:53 a.m. and I am recording videos. I don't have to do this. I could literally sleep up until the last hour when I gotta go to work. But because I have the goal to upload 4 videos, I'm going to post. I'm going to record. I'm going to write scripts in the morning before I go to work. But once I finish writing scripts, I'm going to go for a long walk and read the book. Why? Because I have a student read 10 times this week. And when I get off work, no, on Friday when I get off work, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to visit my grandparents when I get off work, and I'm going to come home and do some push-ups, like, and read The Power of Now deeply. Like, I know what I'm doing. So no longer am I saying, when I get off work, I'm just going to sit and watch TV all day. No, I know exactly what's going to happen because I have this structure, all right? So that's really important. Look at that whole life. Figure out what areas matter to you and create that structure for you. And the last thing that will help you live a more flourishing style of life is to choose low stimulation. I remember I was sitting outside looking at an anthill, poking it with a stick, eating strawberries, bored out of my mind. Now, I could have gone inside my house and like watched TV or like got on my phone, but I didn't want to because that's high stimulation. I wanted to only expose myself to low stimulation. And it was the most boring thing ever. Like, I felt tears of boredom coming into my eyes. But after a while, I got the idea, let me read. And reading is low stimulation, and it's a lot better than watching an anthill. So I went in my room and read for hours. And my mom came home. I went out and hung out with her and entertained myself from her. Now, imagine if I had not allowed myself to just choose low stimulation, and instead, the second I feel bored, I get on my phone. I wouldn't have spent the hours reading and learning and growing. None of that. So my challenge for you is to be more mindful of what you're doing every day. Ask yourself, is what I'm doing low or high stimulation? Is watching TV low or high stimulation? It's high stimulation. It's going for a walk low or high stimulation? Low stimulation. It's cooking dinner high stimulation or low stimulation? Low stimulation. Is getting on social media high stimulation or low stimulation? High stimulation. And when you start asking those questions, you are really going to pull yourself away from the unintentional way we've been living. You're going to pull yourself away from constantly entertaining yourself. And this is the period where you're really going to learn yourself. You're going to learn what you like to do, because when you start pulling away from high stimulation, you're going to realize you have a whole gap of time and freedom that you don't know what to do with, because you've never had to choose, because it was chosen for you. And this is going to be hard for you. It will be. But if you stick with it, you will reach the other side. I did it. And if I can do it, you can definitely do it. But I just want you to know that you have a choice. You don't have to be stuck in zombie mode. You can pick flourishing mode. And it comes down to designing it and being mindful. Are you doing low stimulating things or high stimulating things? Low stimulation is definitely the way to go. Because when you pick a low stimulation, you're actually picking activities that require you to be engaged. Because you're never engaged when you're watching TV or scrolling. You're just sitting there like a zombie. You're not engaged. You're not getting into the flow that leaves you feeling achieved. Like you achieved something. Because me, I'm in flow right now just talking. When I cut off this camera and I rewatch this video, I'm going to look at it and feel a sense of achievement. Because I did that. I spoke something and I helped you out. And I'm proud of that. And then I'm going to go for a walk and be proud because I get to see the beautiful sun and the trees and get to smell the scents and see the animals. And it's wonderful. And I want that for you. So now you know what to do. Understand that you've been put into zombie mode unintentionally, but understand that there's a different way you can live. Flourish mode. And the way to flourish is to be intentional, have clarity in your life. And you can get that clarity by understanding what's important to you in life, and then making goals to make sure you're showing up every week. It ain't gotta be long-term goals. Like, I have a goal to visit my grandparents twice a week. It's not like, do something really big, it's just to go see them. And then just be very cautious. Be very aware of when you're slipping back into unintentional design by asking the question, is this low or high stimulation? You've got this. And if you want more guidance, like I said, I've got a guidebook, not a guidebook, but a starter kit in my description. No pressure. Just letting you know it's there. And I will see you for the next video.